How does a document influence the fate of over 1 billion people? Welcome to the remarkable journey of the Indian Constitution, the cornerstone of the world's largest democracy. This profound document encapsulates the essence of unity, weaving together the diverse tapestry of cultures, languages, and religions across India. It serves as a guardian, ensuring every citizen's rights are protected under a singular yet flexible legal framework. To truly grasp the magnitude of its influence, we must delve into its origins. The journey to draft the Indian Constitution began long before independence. Indeed, the seeds of this monumental document were sown amid the fervent struggles and aspirations of a nation vying for self-rule. As early as the 19th century, the Indian intelligentsia and political leaders started to articulate the need for self-governance. Figures such as Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, and later Mahatma Gandhi became prominent voices advocating for an India governed by Indians. The early 20th century witnessed a crescendo of these demands, amplified by the oppressive policies of the British colonial administration. The massacre of Amritsar in 1919, where hundreds of Indians were killed by British troops, became a pivotal moment, galvanizing national sentiment and intensifying the call for complete independence. Parallel to the political upheavals, there were numerous conferences and roundtable discussions which gradually shaped the vision of a sovereign, democratic India. These discussions laid the intellectual groundwork necessary for drafting a constitution that would eventually govern the world's largest democracy. With the winds of independence blowing, a concrete plan was needed. In August 1947, a remarkable group assembled, tasked with a monumental challenge. At the forefront was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. Known as the principal architect of the Indian Constitution, Ambedkar's profound legal acumen and commitment to social justice shaped the foundational principles of equality and fraternity in the document. Joining him were other stalwarts of the Indian freedom struggle. Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first prime minister, brought his vision of a secular and democratic India to the table. Rajendra Prasad, later to become the first president of India, presided over the Constituent Assembly with a balanced hand, ensuring that diverse voices were heard. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, often called the Iron Man of India, played a crucial role in uniting the country and integrating the princely states, thus reinforcing the framework of the Constitution. These leaders were set to draft a document that promised justice and liberty. Imagine drafting a document that needs to cater to the diverse needs of millions. This was the monumental task faced by the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. As they set out to frame a constitution for the newly independent nation, they were acutely aware of the complexities and the varied aspirations of its people. The drafting process was anything but simple. It involved an extensive series of debates, discussions, and revisions, spanning nearly 3 years. The committee, chaired by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, convened in December of 1946 and worked tirelessly through numerous drafts and amendments. Central to their discussions was how to incorporate the best elements from other world constitutions while ensuring the document was tailored to the Indian context. From the structure of government outlined in the U.S. Constitution to the parliamentary sovereignty of the U.K. and the directive principles inspired by Ireland, the Indian Constitution became a unique blend of various global influences. One of the most heated discussions revolved around the fundamental rights and the directive principles of state policy. These sections were designed to guarantee not just civil liberties, but also promote social welfare and economic justice. The fundamental rights aim to secure individual freedoms such as speech, expression, and religion, ensuring that the state respected the personal liberties of its citizens. On the other hand, the directive principles, although not enforceable by law, set forth the ideal social and economic objectives that the government should strive to achieve. Throughout this drafting phase, the committee also had to navigate various political and cultural sensitivities, ensuring that the Constitution would stand as a cohesive and inclusive document. Every clause and every line underwent meticulous scrutiny to balance the myriad interests and perspectives within the country. After rigorous debates and thoughtful considerations, a preliminary draft was ready. The final version of the Constitution was no small feat. After meticulous drafting, the next crucial phase was the review and revision of the initial drafts. This was a dynamic process, involving detailed scrutiny by the Constituent Assembly, which played a pivotal role in refining the Constitution to its final form. The Constituent Assembly, a diverse group representing various parts of the country and its people, engaged in extensive debates. These debates were not mere discussions. They were the crucible in which the foundational principles of the nation were tested and shaped. Each clause, each provision was debated with the intent to reflect the vast socio-cultural fabric of India and to ensure the governance system was robust and fair. As the drafts were revised, several versions were produced. Each version was a refinement, incorporating changes suggested during the debates. It was a rigorous process, reflecting the dedication to build a constitution that would stand the test of time and complexities. The members of the Assembly brought with them varying perspectives, which enriched the discussions and ultimately the Constitution itself. Finally, on November 26, 1949, the Constituent Assembly adopted the Constitution. This marked the culmination of years of effort and signified the dawn of a new era. The document they endorsed was not just a set of laws, it was a vision and a promise of governance, rights, and duties tailored to the needs and aspirations of the newly independent nation. With the adoption, a new sovereign nation was ready to stand on its own. On January 26, 1950, a new chapter in Indian history began. On this day, the Constitution of India was enacted, transforming it from a mere document into the supreme law of the land. This historic moment marked the birth of the Indian Republic, setting the foundational, legal, and philosophical framework that would guide the nation's future. The significance of this day extends beyond its legal ramifications. It is celebrated annually as Republic Day, a vibrant testament to the enduring strength and unity of India's democratic ethos. Parades, cultural performances, and patriotic displays across the country commemorate the adoption of the Constitution, reflecting the national pride and diverse heritage of India. The enactment of the Constitution was a transformative event, replacing the Government of India Act of 1935 as the country's fundamental governing document. It enshrined the principles of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity promised by the preamble into actionable laws and rights for all citizens. The Constitution not only laid down the law, but also instilled hope and unity. Decades have passed, yet the Constitution remains as relevant as ever. As society evolves, so too does the Indian Constitution, adapting through numerous amendments to meet the changing needs and challenges of the times. This dynamic process underscores the foresight of its framers, who designed it not as a rigid set of rules, but as a living document capable of growth and change. Consider how it has shaped recent legal landscapes. For instance, landmark judgments and amendments have continually reinforced the rights and liberties of the citizens, reflecting contemporary values and societal shifts. The Constitution today actively influences everything from economic policies to social justice, ensuring that the foundational principles of democracy, justice, and equality are upheld. In our fast-paced world, where societal norms are constantly in flux, the Constitution's ability to adapt is more crucial than ever. It not only reflects current realities, but also shapes them, making it a cornerstone of modern India's identity and governance. The Indian Constitution continues to be a living, evolving document. From a vision to a cornerstone of democracy, the Indian Constitution has come a long way. Let's briefly revisit the journey that gave rise to this pivotal document. The genesis of the Indian Constitution lies in the aspiration for self-governance. It was crafted in the wake of India's independence, reflecting the dreams and desires of a newly sovereign nation. Key figures like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, known as the principal architect, alongside other visionary members of the Constituent Assembly, played crucial roles in its formation. The drafting process was meticulous and inclusive, spanning nearly 3 years. This phase involved rigorous debates and discussions, ensuring that the Constitution would be a robust framework for governance. After much deliberation and several revisions, the final document was adopted on the 26th of January, 1950. Today, the Indian Constitution not only outlines the legal foundation of the country, but also continues to influence and inspire democratic principles globally. Thus stands the Constitution of India, a testament to the vision and perseverance of its creators, guiding over 1 billion lives.